So round of applause for Tony.
Thank you. Hello. My name's Tony. I am the Managing Director of Ant Workshop. Ant Workshop is a small studio based in Edinburgh. We have made some of these, which are our own games, which Dungeon Golf is the third one. We've also done like loads of console porting and work for hire for other teams, kind of helping them out with their games. But yeah, I'm going to talk about Dungeon Golf. What is Dungeon Golf? It's mini golf in a dungeon. You play characters like this frog here, who's a bard musician, whacking golf balls through dungeons. There's monsters that you can hit your golf ball into to get bonus points back. There's all kinds of traps and things like that. So it's very exciting. Look at that. There's different environments. There's a lava world because it's a video game. There's a skeleton that uses his own leg as a golf club. It's a great game. It's a great game. This is a selection of Steam reviews. 86% positive on Steam. You cannot get higher than 86% positive on Steam. But I don't know if you can see kind of like what the issue is on this slide particularly. It might be a little bit smaller. It is 86% out of 51 user reviews. Dungeon Golf unfortunately did not do particularly well when we sold it. So I'm going to do a talk about all of the things that I did wrong when we self-published Dungeon Golf. Actually, what time? I'm going to do a talk about 8 of the things that I did wrong when we were self-publishing Dungeon Golf. The kind of like business leaders on LinkedIn would call this like radical candor or something. I think it's a little bit of kind of just having a breakdown on stage, to be honest. But we'll get through it and then we'll feel better later on. So the first thing, let's dive right in. Dungeon Golf was £15. Really, we should have made it a lot cheaper. It's a game that excels when you are playing it with 3 of your friends. Trying to persuade like a group of your friends, by the time you've all bought it, that's 60 quid. Like it's quite a significant kind of outlay. We're a studio that no one knows who we are, really. No one really knew what Dungeon Golf was. So yeah, trying to kind of persuade people to put that kind of spend on an unknown studio and an unknown IP was kind of nuts, really. Second thing we did wrong, early access. Early access sounds great, doesn't it? You put out a game, it's not finished, you get a bit of money coming in, people are a bit more forgiving of the bugs, all of that kind of stuff. There's a couple of things that I didn't really think about at the time. One is, on Steam, with early access, you can't be in like the new and trending list. So no matter how well you're doing at kind of like being an up and coming, once you actually launch, you kind of drop off all of those charts. And there's some people that just won't buy an early access game. And again, for something that's like, it works best as a multiplayer game, and for a studio where it's like we didn't have that kind of reputation or stuff, I think like we really kind of like cut down our chances and cut down our audience by releasing it into early access. And the kind of on the other side of that as well, it meant that when the game had come out and it hadn't done very well, and we knew we can't keep working on this, we can't afford to keep working on this, we didn't want to leave a game that's just up there in eternal early access. So we still had to come out and like, right, we need to figure out what we're going to do as like our kind of final patch so that we can call it version 1, draw a line under it, and not be seen as kind of like early access scammers or shitty devs or whatever people on Steam would call us. We chose a really bad launch week. So we picked a launch date, as you do, and then Lies of P got announced. Lies of P is quite a big game. Sexy Pinocchio, it wasn't for me, but it's single player, so I wasn't too bothered about that. And then this game called Party Animals, they picked their launch day as exactly the same day. Party Animals is like it was like a huge wishlist behemoth, really anticipated, big multiplayer party game thing. It was exactly the same sort of target audience. We should have just bit the bullet and kind of like moved our launch date. No one really cared that much about like, oh, holy shit, Dungeon Golf's coming out and like we can't move that launch date. We should have just done that. We didn't shout about it early enough. This is Google image search. What Google image search thinks is a man being stealthy. Take from that what you will. We should have had a Steam page live like almost a year earlier. We were about 15 months into development by the time we put a Steam page live. We're always thinking, you know, there's always something else you can do. Oh, this bit of art doesn't look quite right, or like we want to tweak this bit of like these graphics, or oh, we should get this character in, or change these animations. There is always just a little bit more polish you can do, and it really kind of like we got really bogged down in trying to get something out that was perfect rather than just putting out a Steam page live much earlier on, so that we could start kind of marketing it and start kind of trying to build up a bit of following around it. And to be honest as well, that would have also helped us earlier on realize that we weren't kind of like able to reach out to our audience, and that people weren't actually as interested in Dungeon Golf as we thought that everyone should be. And if we'd have realized that much earlier on, we could have probably done more stuff with like kind of cutting our budget and our scope. And yeah, we didn't take it to like free shows, we didn't get public playtests on it. The first time that we kind of actually sort of had it in the public where we were watching people playing it was at Gamescom, which we'd spent a phenomenal amount of money for, and that was a really bad idea. Halfway through, how are we all feeling? Good, yeah? I didn't really understand Steam events. Our Dungeon Golf was our first game that we'd put out in a little while, and Steam kind of changes its ecosystem fairly regularly. So it had all of like these events and fests. Steam loves a fest. We did Sports Fest. We thought, oh, Dungeon Golf, you know, Sports Fest, we'll do Sports Fest. We put a playtest into Sports Fest. We didn't understand that like in the way that Steam works, it's like playtests and demos are really quite significantly different things. So we went into Sports Fest and we thought, oh, this will be brilliant. It'll get us loads of wish lists. People will really care. And again, we didn't really understand that whole thing of that Steam wants you, like you need to bring the people to your page, and then Steam will react to that and kind of and help you out. I think, yeah, again, over the week, the amount of effort that we put into, like we dropped like a new character into the playtest build halfway through and tried to like market that and stuff, and we ended up with about 70 wish lists out of the whole Sports Fest, and it's like, you know, it's just not worth it for the amount of effort. And while we're on wish lists, there's a lot of people out there that will tell you all kinds of stuff about wish lists and how, like, you know, oh, you have to have over 7,000 wish lists, or you'll sell 20% of your wish lists and all of this kind of stuff. And it's all kind of bullshit. Like, it's averaged out over so many games and so many different genres and so many launch periods and so like over years of data and all of this kind of stuff, to the point where it's like, yeah, sure, you might sell 20%, but probably not. Like you'll probably actually do kind of like nowhere near that, or you might do loads better. Like the kind of statistical thing of it, you can't get too hung up on it. You just, yeah, great, get those numbers as high as you can, basically. As Steve did a talk earlier on, he kind of showed how the Steam algorithm works. It loves those numbers to be big. But yeah, you can't kind of get too focused on, well, this has happened, so that means that we will definitely earn this amount of money. And in a kind of follow-up thing to that, Simon Byron, who is sat at the back over there, has done, these were grabbed from Twitter. I believe he's also done them on Blue Sky now for all of the other cool kids that hate Elon as well. This is Yogscast Games by pre-launch wishlist, and the same games by overnight sales, and it's like there's a bit of correlation there, but kind of not as much as like the people that will sell you courses on learning about Steam would have you believe. Number 7. Yeah, so we kind of looked at it and we were like, yeah, there's loads of really big, huge selling mini-golf games. Mini-golf games must be super, super popular. What didn't really factor into it is that the really big sellers, to be honest, aren't actually about mini-golf that much at all. Golf with your friend, like they're more about the kind of social aspect of it. Golf It is more of an editor. Golf with your friends, you can't actually even watch your friends playing mini-golf in it until you've finished the hole. Like it's quite isolationary. Walkabout mini-golf in VR. It was a VR game. It's basically a VR room with mini-golf in it, and it came out during the pandemic. So people were kind of jonesing for a thing where it's like, oh, we can have like a nice, happy experience where we're sat with our friends. So yeah, again, it's probably one of those things where, because our game, we should have looked more at other titles that were focused on the gameplay of mini-golf and what the mini-golf is, and then we would have probably seen that almost all of them don't do very well at all, actually. Yeah. God, this talk. I should stop giving this talk. It's not good for me. We focused the entire team on this project. We had the full company, the full 10-person team on one project for 2 years. We switched off all work for hire, like other porting work that I said that we'd done. Like we switched off doing all of that so that we could focus on doing dungeon golf. Do you know there's a famous saying? Definitely put all of your eggs in a single basket, because that is the safest place for all of your eggs, as long as nothing happens to that basket. And like as we started doing that, people would come to us and say, "Oh, do you have availability to do this bit of porting work or that bit?" And as you turn people away, the requests stop coming because people know that you're not doing it anymore. So that meant that kind of post Dungeon Golf, when we were trying to do something else and when we were available for work for hire again, and we are available for work for hire, it was really difficult. We had to really build those relationships back up, and like people had found other teams that were kind of fulfilling those needs for them. Yeah, so that's the 8 things I messed up when self-publishing Dungeon Golf. I take the words of one of modern society's kind of like finest philosophers and thinking minds, Bluey's mum. You just have to basically have a little cry, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. You learn from all of your mistakes. You've got to be honest with yourself about what your mistakes were. Learning from everything that we did with Dungeon Golf kind of changed how we approached our next set of game development. We were making smaller games, getting them out there quicker, getting them in front of people quicker, and it taught me a lot. And hopefully now, by us enduring this together, you've maybe learned a little bit as well, and it might help your next games too. And yes, like I said, speaking of next games, Into the Restless Ruins came out last week. Go and buy it, please. Thank you.